Hi, everyone. This is Cindy Walter, and I have Lori Olson with me today. And I asked Lori if she wouldn't mind if I interviewed her and asked her a few questions because she's really been killing her business. And I've watched her from the beginning. We worked together in our prior company. She's always been what I would consider a dynamo, great personality. Actually, when I found Isogenic, she's one of the people I thought of right away. That would be such a perfect fit for this business. But I was also very aware of the fact that I was not recruiting from my prior company. So I never went to Lori, never talked to her about it. She came to us, asked us questions. I'm going to ask her to share her story. But I've watched her progress and grow her business and become an unbelievable leader for this entire team. So first of all, Lori, I want to thank you in front of everyone for just being an outstanding leader, for doing what it takes to take this team to the next level, for just really pouring out of your heart and soul and putting hours and hours of time into our HHP group and ISA for Wealth, and really just being a great leader and an inspiration to the whole team. So thank you.
You're welcome, but thank you for leading the way, Cindy. You made it easy to join this team. Everyone knows your leadership, so that was an inspiration. It was very nice knowing what you're walking into and having no question that you had awesome support. So that's probably the biggest thing before we even get started. Solos and no-go.
Yeah, that's right. So we are totally in this as a team, and we do it together, guys. All right. So Lori, what I want you to do is start off by just sharing a little bit, what intrigued you to come with us for the first, number one, and tell us a little bit about your story and getting started.
Okay, let's try and have the short version of it. But, I was in the prior company that you were in, and I started that when I was 28, I think. So I had a vision from when I very first started, a vision of just being, self-employed, self-sufficient, home with my children. Always wanted to, I sort of had an entrepreneurial spirit in the sense that I wanted to run my own ship, my time, my hours, my gig. I didn't want to invent my own product, however. I loved that, the tools were already in place. And my first company, I was there for 12 years and worked hard, enjoyed it. I will be honest and say I joined that company because I knew someone doing it and I thought it was fun to do the parties and I was a fun person. The product wasn't exactly my match. It worked, but it wasn't what Isogenics is. Isogenics is my lifestyle.
Yeah, you didn't have to change anything. This was a perfect fit for your family.
So when I started using how I came then, I learned about Isogenics because of the other people in my company that were sharing it on Facebook and stuff. I didn't necessarily look into it right away, actually, at all. Some of you guys were there for a year or two before I decided to take a closer look because I didn't know anything about it. How is this supplement any different than GNC? I mean, that's what I've always thought about every company out there. I don't see how this is any different than what I'm already doing or what I can find. However, I was suffering for years and it was getting worse with lots of digestive problems. And I was also, which was turning into chronic fatigue and I guess without being clinically diagnosed, maybe bits of depression or feeling sad because I was not even liking to work out anymore. I just didn't feel like me. And I'd been to GI doctors throughout my whole life, no real answers other than a drug they may want to prescribe to me. Then I was in San Diego and hooked up with an old friend that is a nutritionist. And she said, why haven't you talked to me yet? And it was like, nutrition.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. I mean, I thought I was eating healthy. That's the problem though, So she did this whole intake, changed my dietary. I learned about artificial sweeteners. I learned about, GMOs. I learned about all this stuff that I needed, gluten, things I should, be avoiding. Then when I was looking for my good supplements, I couldn't find them. I knew what to look for in the ingredients. And I was like, Heather, it doesn't exist. And then I said something about Isogenics and these people from Tastefully's from my previous company were doing Isogenics. And she said, Isogenics is an amazing product. I know they have amazing products. And so I looked into them. I was sending her ingredients. I looked at the ingredients, couldn't find anything wrong with them. And that was the end all. I can't find anything wrong with it. Yeah. And so I started for the products, had an amazing product experience. It was that typical day 5 after the deep cleanse that I was like, is this what a normal human being actually feels like?
Yeah.
And my body was functioning the way that it seems like it should. I didn't share right away because I couldn't, but I wanted to, because of where I was at in my previous company and the policies that they had in place. So I spent some time soul searching, and then I looked into, for sure, if I was going to make this leap, I had to look into the company, and I had to look into the compensation plan, and that it was secure, and that this was a, because I wasn't necessarily unsatisfied with every single part of where I was at, and I didn't want to give up a good thing for something that I didn't know about. So long story short, again, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. And I found everything great about it, and realized that network marketing is where I needed to be for residual income, and that I wasn't going to get there. And I was putting in a lot of time and effort to not really have that dream come true for my family.
Right. All right. So tell us, like in the beginning, when you did decide, okay, I'm going to embrace the whole business side of things, and you joined us and linked arms with us for the business. Tell us what it looked like in the beginning. Were you an overnight success? Did it happen very quickly and easy? Because people get so frustrated in this business if they see other people succeeding very fast, and if they don't match that speediness of someone else, they compare themselves. So that's what I want to try to figure out. How long did it take you, and how was it when you started?
Well, like everyone else, my goal when I started was to basically enroll. I knew I needed to develop consultants and leaders, but you have to have enough people enrolling in order to get that far.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I based it on in the beginning, was just enrolling and getting the word out. I did launch parties at my house. I had some silent parties where people didn't show up, but I just kept doing them. I didn't do them every week. I just consistently was doing them, and I was sharing consistently on Facebook. I did jump in with both feet right away. Most of the money at the beginning came from the double product introductory bonuses. So I would say I was successful enrolling right away, but that still wasn't getting me to where I wanted to be. So I was successful enrolling consistently because I understood the consistency. My sponsor's wonderful. Lisa helped me every step of the way, asked her a gazillion questions. She was wonderful in answering them, and that's what we do as sponsors. I think that's one of the biggest things that people need to realize is you're never bugging us. This is our job.
Yeah.
I knew it was her job, but she worked hard for the money, let me tell you.
But it's so much fun. That's the thing. It's so much fun. It's so rewarding, and it's so worth everything. But it is work. It is work.
It's work, but you have to enjoy it. Is the way it is.
Yep.
So
yep.
Anyway, the enrolling went pretty well, and I'm always happy to share what I do to get people on board with enrolling. Obviously, the tricky part after 6 months was still promoting in the company, just to get to director and to get to manager. And I felt like, I was kind of spinning my wheels and continuing, what else do I need to do differently? How do I get these people? I'm like mind blown to get people to share with 2 people is hard, And so that's when I really, you just have to be your own advocate and figure out what's going to work. Mm-hmm. So when my sponsor was there to help me as much as possible, but I had plenty of people enrolled to not be promoting after 6 months.
Right.
To director even. I was at manager, and that was effort, So I listened to, that's when I started just digging up every single thing I could find about promoting consultants. Mm-hmm. I do go to all the events too, and they're very helpful, but you kind of have to listen to a lot of people to find the niche that's going to work for you. I mean, you've heard lots of good tips from other people, which is wonderful, but why just always go and listen and learn from people who are successful in doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That is the number one thing that I would say. And I went to the podcast from Isagenix podcast. Anytime anyone shared, some of those team calls, I did that. And it all started clicking together after I listened to that Jill Bauman call that was relating to HHP without her exactly saying it. But she did get me the wording and the timing down to ask people, like right after that first cleanse, to trust me and, start sharing and things like that. So really it was, to be honest with you, in addition to that, when I was on that crystal, it was the reset. Crystal reset, and I got to director, and then I was like, yes, my goal was executive, but then, it was May, and I was like, what? I have like a month and a half, I have 6 weeks to do this. This has to happen. What do I have to do different? And it's funny, even though I was working all the time, it wasn't as intentional. And once you start working with intention towards your goal and you are laser focused on that and you have a deadline, it happens. And my deadline was July 15th or whatever. And I was like, I remember going back to you guys and everyone was like, work with your new people. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, I can enroll new people. And I planted that seed with them early on. If they weren't ready to share right away, I said, I'll check back with you. You know, they want to try the products first, which I completely understand. I said, I completely understand that. I'll check back with you in a week or day 5 or whatever it is, because I know you'll be feeling amazing. And they're like, okay, that's fine. And lo and behold, that intention of just making sure people knew the benefits of sharing and that I was here to help them, many of them did it. You know, I always remind people, all of them will not do it. 85% of our people are product users, if not more. But if we don't tell any of them and show any of them, none of them will.
Right, right. Okay, so the big shift for you was once you listened to the training from Jill, you were more intentional, you had that deadline, and you started creating consultants. How did you create consultants? Because the people watching this are going to want to know what worked for you.
Well, I'm trying to think back. It really was mostly new people. But I would say first, go back to everyone you've personally enrolled and touch base and say, I am here to support you no matter what. My number one thing, and I do this ongoing, because sometimes people just need more time. You just can't expect that everyone wants to do that right away. Some will right away, some will not. I've had people now come around a year later saying they're ready to do it.
Yep.
Keep them as strong product users. That is your number one goal. I mean, even to cycle, you need people eating the food. You need people eating the product. So the number one thing is give them a very strong product experience. So when I check back in with them, I said, my number one goal is for you to have the most amazing Isagenix experience and to reach those goals that you set right from the day that you started. And sometimes that just brings people back in if they kind of fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
And I just say, it's all right if you fell off the wagon. I mean, who hasn't, right? I mean, I'm pretty honest with people.
Oh, yeah.
But I always come right back. So anyway, I do that first and say, then I want to ask you 3, when you respond to me, you know, on how you're doing and how I can help you, it would really help me serve you best if you can answer one of these ways. 1, I'm very, very happy using the products, or I want to get back into the products. I know how to manage my auto ship. I'm cool. I'll let you know, Lori, if I have any questions. 2, I do love the products. I do know people that could benefit from these products, and I would love to help them get healthy like I am and share with a few people, and in return get my products paid for. Or 3, I would love to do what you're doing, Lori, and actually make an impact in the world, help a lot of people get healthy, and create some awesome residual income for my family.
That's awesome. I hope you guys wrote that down. And if you didn't, you can rewind and write that down. That's awesome. So that's great, because new people now going forward, you're planting the seed right away in the back of their minds about the business opportunity, getting their products paid for. But this is a great way to go back to all those product users that you might not have mentioned it to at the beginning, to revisit it now. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll do that. And I actually did it by recording myself. I did a little, you have to do it under 90 seconds or whatever. So it took me about 5 times, knowing me. And then I just sent the video recording because it was a little more personalized that way.
That is awesome. I'm just writing notes myself.
I actually just did that video type thing recently, but so that was the first step in getting to Crystal. It's like, go back, of course, to all the people you already have, see where they're at.
Right.
People won't respond at all, and don't feel bad about that because you did your part. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, is what they're saying, or they're not ready. And then it was working with those new people.
Okay.
Planting the seed right when they get in, checking in with them constantly. And I've let the ball drop before that, like, I haven't heard from them. It's been a week. Hopefully they did okay. Did they make it through their cleanse? Oh my God. I mean, it happens. Don't beat yourself up. Just go back and then do better. And I have to, especially like last week when we had that special, I enrolled 5 people. So it's almost better that way because I know that I need to be keeping track of where people are at I'm sending the message going, okay, how's cleanse day going? Stay strong, reminding them day 2 is where that magic happens. Then you want to hear from them right away on day 5. How are you feeling today?
Do you like me again today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, going back before that, make sure you're doing that 14-day talk, which most people probably know about. But yeah, I hope you're loving me again today. This is where because if they get to that point and do it, and 1-day cleanse is okay too, but I think I've done both, and I feel great after a 1-day cleanse. I feel even better after a 2-day cleanse.
Yeah.
So, and you have those results and everything. So
absolutely.
Sometimes you can kind of talk more about that sharing thing. Who else do you know that would love to feel as amazing as you do right now?
Absolutely.
It's so fun to have cleansing buddies. It's so fun to do this with friends, and it gives you accountability. So sometimes when people are like, I just need more accountability, I'm like, you really should invite friends to do this with you. People are more successful. Then I'm honest with them. Honestly, a huge part of what keeps me married to this and accountable is the fact that I have all these people seeing me as an example of success and health.
Absolutely.
I can't do that without being a product of the product. So talk about accountability. If you want to see the shape of your life, rock it out.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, so you touched on events and how you always try to learn from your events. Share with everyone, like, what is your feeling on attending events, and especially our big core events, Isogenics University, New Year's Kickoff, which is our next big event celebration. Do you feel your success comes from always being at these events?
Coming from our prior company, I knew I had to be at events because I was just like everyone else before my first event in my first company. My sponsor was encouraged. It was the national conference. I actually was only 4 hours away from the national conference and still was not considering going. And I had full intentions of rocking this thing out. So maybe there's other people like me out there. And she kept saying, you really should go. You're doing really well. And so of course I thought, yeah, so why do I need to go? Oh, so everyone's been there. And then my husband got wind of the conference and he said, why aren't you going to this? It's like 4 hours away.
No brainer.
Yeah. He's like, his dad is extremely successful financial advisor, like top 5 in the region. He said, my dad was a sponge for every single opportunity that company was going to offer him to be successful. You're crazy.
Yeah.
I had no kids. I had no stupid reason for not going. So anyway, I went. All the lights came on, and I saw people walking across that stage, and I thought, well, if they can do this, so can I.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying to my sponsor, I feel like a really lame person in this company now. And she said, well, isn't it inspiring though? It like inspires us all to do better. So coming from those experiences, I knew, and in that year, I did 3 times more.
Yeah.
In the next 3 months, I did 3 times more than I had that whole year before. So I knew that. And then I came to the Isogenics ones, and I love them just as much, if not even more. Well, half of it is just being in your right spot, and I absolutely love the culture. I love that there's honestly more abundance than I've seen anywhere else. And you're going to learn from all the top successful people. And and these millionaires don't seem like some, I don't know, they aren't so much on a pedestal so much anymore as your partners.
Right.
They want to be people too.
So I think, I can agree with you 100% on all of this. For us attending, we become better business builders, better leaders by going and absorbing the training ourselves. And for those of you really wanting to grow your team and your business, for me, how important is it to get your team members to these events now, Lori, as a leader? Like now, I mean, Lori and I were talking about it before I hit the record button, how important it is for us to get our people at our events. So my first celebration in 2012, there was 3 of us, Susan Wheeler, Valerie Gerber, and myself. This last celebration, we had 100. Next celebration, I'm sure we'll probably have at least 200. So it is all about getting more and more of your people to see the light. And when you have something 4 hours away, like Lori was saying, if you can drive to an event, you absolutely need to be at that event. I fly, I drive, I've driven 10 hours to events before. So I feel like, number one, as a leader, it's my responsibility to be at these events. I can't expect you guys to be there if I'm not going to be there. So as a leader, I feel like it's my job. Number two, I will be better because of it. And they time these conferences around when you need them the most. It never ceases to amaze me. When New Year's kickoff comes, we're going to be like, oh, I needed this so badly. So events are absolutely huge. All right, what I want to end with, Lori, is tell everyone like on your daily plan. Like, what do you do each day? Everyone always wants to ask successful people, what do you do each day? And, what are you doing consistently? For me, one of my quotes I love is, commitment means staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. So I'm sure there might be some of your daily tasks that aren't your favorite thing to do, but what do you know you have to do each day in order to have success?
Well, it's all about consistency. And I know that some of what I'm saying is going to be, I don't want anyone saying, I work full time, there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can do that. You have to take someone, I think it was Lynn Hagedorn even said, you need to be consistent at the level you can stick to right now. Because if you think that consistency for you is exactly what it is for me, and you don't have the life that can support that right now, then you're going to quit and do nothing.
Right.
So you have to figure out your niche for consistency. As far as the Facebook post, which I'll talk about in a little bit, we've talked about all the ways you can set that up so you can be consistent in that way. You don't need to be at home or anything. Some of the follow-up things, no, but it will take some sacrifice. I think that's what people have to realize. I love my life, but I work hard even though I work the hours that I want to. So a day for me is getting up. I know a lot of people already have set up all of their Facebook posts before they even get up in the morning. I'll get there. I'm the type of person that I look at what I want to post because of what I'm inspired at the moment, and I'm able to do that so far. So I get up, the first thing that I do, obviously, what people have to realize on here is that Facebook and your phone is your home office. And that message has to get across to family, so they don't think that you're just constantly wanting to look at your friends on Facebook instead of be with them.
Right.
That's not what it is. It is that this is your office. You're like checking messages. This is where your business is.
Right.
So anyway, first thing is getting my first post up on my personal timeline on Facebook immediately. Then I go around and support all of my team members that are also posting, liking, commenting, for sure, all of my own. And then I get to as many of our mutual team and even people that aren't even on our team. And pretty soon your news feed is totally filled up with all isogenic stuff, a lot. And you can't reach everyone all the time. You do have to realize that, but you support as much as you can. I will say one tip: the minute someone is liking and commenting on my posts, it doesn't take me more than 2 seconds to hop over to their page. So please remember that we all work together on this. And I think some people just hope and rely on others coming to support and help them without being a team player. So that is a huge important thing. Then I jump over, after I've, worked with my team, I jump over to HHP, get a couple of things up there. Don't forget that HHP is just as important, if not more important, than your posts on your timeline. Because HHP eventually is where the majority of all your prospects are. To separate the two, your timeline is to gain interest for new people that you want to eventually get in HHP, the product page, in your store. So get some interest going over there as much as possible, then keep loading them in HHP, and then that's where you want to be posting all the time, because that is where your people are. They're all seeing what you post, and those that post the most make the most. I think I've said that 1,400 times, and I'm not sure everyone, or not. I'm not making this stuff up. We learned this from the global executives.
Right.
So it's not really that difficult, and it doesn't have to be rocket science, as far as what your posts are, just even great experiences. So most of my day is on Facebook, whether it's through HHP, getting up usually 5 posts a day, just like the global executives teach for the 2-week turnaround, all varying in types of content, loosely or closely related to isogenics or just positivity, personal development, all of those things. And supporting my team, and then also taking the time to follow up in private messages, a lot of time with my prospects. Sometimes I just have a power day that I load up and go through my whole list and send simple message to a bunch of them, letting them know I'm still thinking of them. Sometimes I'll just do, it's probably more realistic for people to do a few a day. Then I also reach out, try and take the time to reach out to a few new people that I think would be great. So when I see someone on Facebook, like for example, I've seen people that I'm not actually friends with, but I really love what they share on Facebook. They're very positive, they're very inspiring, and it's just who they are. They're not doing it for any other reason. And so I friended people like that, and then I just send them a message saying, I absolutely love what you share and post on Facebook. It's so cool to see people being a light. And then, you know, you kind of work together that way, and they might follow you or not. But if either way, I like having that kind of thing in my newsfeed. So I'm trying to develop, you know, new relationships with people and find more friends.
Right.
Those are activities. So if you're low on friends, I do tell my people, some people have wondered why I see them sharing and they may not get as much response as I would expect. It's because they don't have enough friends.
Yeah, you really do need a big circle of influence. And the more friends you have on Facebook, the more people are following you. And you could say something 1,400 times and people aren't going to see it 1,400 times. So, you know, absolutely, that is huge. You really should be getting that friend list bigger and bigger and bigger. Absolutely. How about launch parties? Do they still play a role in your business? Are you still doing them?
I did them a lot in the beginning to get the word out. And I will say for new people, if you live near like Cindy or someone like that already doing launch parties, just join in theirs and advertise them. Don't feel like you need to do your own. No, I didn't have anyone here. So I did my own. And of course they were small. And then sometimes there's hardly anyone because I didn't even have other people that could invite people. You know, it was just me.
Yeah.
So I will say they turned out great because it was a great way to get the word out, because I would do a Facebook event and I invited all these people. At first I was mailing things, which I'm not sure you really need to do. So they at least saw I was doing something.
Right.
So it was like sort of that first few months, it was almost like a 3-month kickoff that they kept getting this invitation. And eventually they're kind of like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
You know, even though it wasn't overwhelming, like I had these dreams of, you know, everyone wanting to go to my event. I do still do them. I didn't for a while, but then I had team members asking for them. So I was like, absolutely. And for a while, I was doing them about once a month. We picked them up here in the 90-day game plan. And I was there for a while. I did like, I think 6 weeks in a row of launch parties. And some were bigger and some were smaller. But I tell you, when they had people come, even if they don't enroll right there, they do tend to enroll.
They do, yeah. And I know that's how I started my business. We did weekly launch parties in the beginning. I shied away for it. Probably in the 3.5 years, I've shied away from it a couple times. When I start to get discouraged, if people stop coming, then I get discouraged. I stop having them. And then I feel like, it's time to start having them again. So what I recommend is don't get discouraged. If you have a night, what did you call it if no one shows?
Silent party.
A silent party. That doesn't mean you should not have them anymore, because you just might have had a silent week. So I've been doing them consistently for a long time again. One a week. I try almost every week. I have one, not always at my home. When they're at my home, I invite all of my local people to invite people to them, but I'll travel. If I have someone on my team that's an hour, 2 hours away, I'll travel and do one for them to help them get started. So especially for you new people that are watching, you know, that is a great way to help get you started and get you branded and get people knowing what you're all about. The HHP group is, like Lori said, it's amazing for you being able to put your prospects in that group and them getting excited about what's going on in there and wanting to enroll as well. And certainly that one-on-one, you're building relationships through Facebook and you're on the phone with people and you're out meeting people and networking all the time. Any other tips that you can share, Lori, that have, you know, been great things that you've done that have really helped you? Because your cycling has just, not only have you built leaders, now you've got leaders building their teams and going to conferences, but your cycling is increasing too. Any other tips that you can share?
It really is. I think that first year is just tough. You know, I'm in my 2nd year now, and that's when it's happening. It's not like nothing happened the first year. You're just seeing the benefits of all your work when things really start coming together. So I had fun the whole time my first year, and I'll be honest, for the effort I put in, I got paid well. My goal when I started was to get up to $2,000 a month, so that I felt, because I quit my job. that's the other thing, I guess. That's probably my biggest thing I wanted to tell people. It's not like, I think people think, oh, but you're home, but you have more time, but all of these things. I made that decision and started over. So if you want to quit your job, you can do that. I'm not saying you need to. I'm not saying that you should. That was what I had to do. That was what I was dealt with. And it forced me to figure it out.
Yeah.
So if that's why it happened, at least, so my goal was to get up to at least $2,000 a month because I had $0 now a month.
I did that too.
I will be honest and say, yeah, you did it. And that was the other thing. Cindy did it, Lisa did it, all these other people that were forced to make a decision did it. And I was like, they're amazing leaders and they'll show me the way.
Yep.
They did it, I can do it. So anyway, the first month, I think I made $900, almost primarily in double product introductory bonuses, probably maybe a few cycles here and there. And then slowly not slowly, I don't know. It got up to closer to $2,000, and $500 a week is 1 star, 10 cycles. But I got there even just because I was enrolling so many people. And so anyway, I just think that people have to realize it does take the time, and it is about consistency. And I got up every day to work on this business. That was what was in my mind every single day. It wasn't a hobby. It wasn't something on the side. It wasn't if it works, it works. It was, what can I do today to better myself? I'm going to listen to a podcast today. I'm going to, there was always something, and I'm going and I'm digging for some awesome content to put on Facebook. I'm not just flinging mud against the wall and hoping, well, sometimes I did that. We all do that sometimes. But I really went digging to try and find some good information, because my whole thing was I didn't understand why isogenics was different than anything else. So why are they going to? So that was my biggest mission when I first started, was really showing that this is something different and something amazing. And I didn't have a before and after picture to show. I mean, I have one now, but I wasn't advertising with that. It was just about honest, authentic changes I've noticed in my life.
Yeah, so, that's great. I would
say consistency is the biggest thing.
It really is.
It just is. Just even some days, and I even admitted this to my team, I had kind of I don't know, we all have hard days. So I had kind of a rough day, whether it was a conversation with a team member that I didn't think went the way I wanted it to. I was feeling kind of, I don't know if it was not really burnout, but more like, I don't know, just to know my groove on, feeling like I needed a break or something, retrain my mind. So I went to bed. It's amazing what a good night's sleep does. And I got up the next day and was like, nope, I'm ready to go. So it's just got to be in you. It's got to be, you kind of have to be, really do have to be passionate about it. And if you believe in this product and you believe in this company and you believe in network marketing and you get yourself out, I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you. Yeah, that would be the biggest thing, consistency and personal development.
Yep.
So it is not about you. This is about them. So I will say, here's another tip when people don't want to share, when they say, I'm just doing this for me right now. Sometimes I hear that, and that's not wrong, but let's get to the bottom of it. But it's not about you. It's about them. It's about other people who else, they also need the solutions that you have.
Yeah. And then I've said many times before that I feel so great. It's helped my family so much and my friends that I feel obligated to share. I feel an obligation to share this. If I didn't share this with someone and they were not healthy and didn't feel well, I would feel badly. So it's my responsibility. That's just how I look at it. And it helps me too. So Lori, you're awesome.
I do light up though when they realize you do have a solution. There was one other thing I was going to
Yes, please.
I was thinking about this as I was brushing my teeth before we came. I know that the biggest thing that's holding people back is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they're correct or incorrect beliefs about network marketing, beliefs about sharing, beliefs about themselves, beliefs about whether they can do this or they're the right person or whatever it happens to be. And I sit there and think, we all have some version of that going on probably all the time, but why do some people just go and are okay with that, and some people are stuck? And I think a lot of it has to do, again, with personal development, and some of our paths are different than other people's paths. And I'm very blessed that I had people all my life supporting me. I never had people telling me that's stupid or you can't do that, or, I mean, a few people might have, but no one I cared about, I guess. So you just have to be able to burn. It's kind of like the global executives teach, get rid of those core wounds, because you're never, ever going to move forward until you heal yourself on the inside and realize that you are no different than any of us. And we all want you to go straight to the top, and you certainly can. And that will take personal development. And I think some of us coming in from another company have to realize we had a lot of personal development going on before we got here.
Yeah.
I mean, conferences, we've read books, you know, all of those things. And I have been to I guess I think back when I first started my other business, my dad was sending me Tony Robbins CDs, you know, that I was listening to. And I don't think I remembered and realized how that probably helped my mindset before I even realized it. So it is your mindset. Grab some personal development, and attending all those events are personal development. And I bet over all these years, we've probably been to, I don't know, close to 100 events. So that doesn't happen overnight.
That's why when we have a bad day or a bad moment, it doesn't turn into a bad week, a bad month, and we don't quit. We know, because our mind has been trained and we've had enough personal development, that this is a bad moment. It's a bad thing that happened, and we know how to get back on track again. And that's what we want for all of you guys. And that's why we took time to do this today. Thank you, Lori, from the bottom of my heart, for giving up your time to share with everyone. You know, my goal in doing this today was to inspire all of you. So many of you are brand new, wondering if this is for you. Can you do this? And you know, I hope Lori did a great job sharing with you that you're no different than Lori or I. If we can do this, you can do this. And it is really getting to these events, getting really deep involved in personal development. Always be reading a book. I always have something right near me that I'm reading. I've already read this. I'm reading it again. There's stacks of books. You can probably see my bookshelf back there. All the time. If I am exercising alone, I've got my earbuds on always. I will never get to the point. I've been doing personal development and direct sales for 23 years now. I still do this. I will never get to the point where I'm done learning. So that's what we want for you. Be a student, learn, and let us help you. We're a team. We're here to help you. You have so much help within the awesome leadership of this team. Use us and let us help you, and we want to see you achieve your goals. So thank you, Lori, so much. This was awesome.
Thank you for asking me. Thanks for all your kudos. You're too kind.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too. And I really appreciate, I'm just so blessed. I even said from other people, I'm like, I walked into this knowing that I had the most amazing support and leaders, because I know these ladies. I know how awesome they are. So I guess the last message to everyone would be like, you guys are so lucky. I have people coming to me that have no support at all. Talk about hard. This is not.
No, it's not hard when we have such great people to link arms with, and it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, it is totally. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, thanks. We'll see everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.